Welcome back to PTV's The Performers, the show where we explore the music scene of North Shore, Massachusetts by hosting local artists for a performance and interview to find out how they've made music into a hobby, side hustle, or career. I'm your host, Maddie Wann, and this week our guest is the interesting fellow himself, Robby Rowe. Welcome.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
So fun to have you.
Thanks for having me,
Yeah.
PTV and Maddie.
So let's make our bias known out of the gate, as we are journalists of integrity. Robby's a longtime friend of our showrunner, Nick, as well as a coworker of mine at a local brewery. Obviously, we're all friends now, but I want you to start off by telling us about where you were in your music journey when you and Nick first met in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool question. I like how that's like worded like that.
Throwback.
So pretty much when Nick and I first met, I wasn't really doing music like I am now at all. I was very new to the whole process of recording myself, as well as like making beats, learning like how to do an accurate or like a what's accurate to me strong song structure. So yeah, I was kind of like I was really nowhere in the process that I am today, and obviously, you know, it came with experience and learning through doing everything. But I always loved music, always wanted to make music, and at that point when we first met is when I really started to get serious about it, and I actually like started to record myself more, get more into learning about, you know, what to do technologically, like how to work the software, everything like that. So that's really how it started off when Nick got into the picture. But yeah.
That's awesome. What was it? What was the role that music had in your life before that? Like as a kid, kind of getting through school, how involved were you with music?
Very heavily involved in a lot of different ways. My dad was the main inspiration for why I started making music or falling in love with music in general. Like my parents had a whole CD collection that they would always show me, and they would do new songs every time we would go in the car. Like they would play something new, or they would sing along to something on the radio that I haven't heard before. And it really got me like involved with listening and being a conscious listener of the style of music or how somebody sounds, like different singing styles, stuff like that. And then I got really into wanting to play guitar because my dad grew up and was a guitarist. So that was kind of like how I first got into it, was him being like the main goal that I wanted to be. I was like, I want to be like my dad,
Sure.
you know? And yeah, so he got me into lessons, and I got, you know, more into it through that, and then I got more into being a performer in general. I started doing theater in school, as well as taking up band and chorus and doing, you know, a lot of stuff that got me in front of the camera, and just stuff like that. So it's just like, I guess, learning through, you know, seeing all these idols in music being so comfortable in their own skin and being so comfortable in front of like a large audience or something like that is like what I was striving to be. I was like, that is the dream right there.
Yeah. So how'd you find your way into music production? Because you now are producing your own music, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that journey like for you?
So it's actually interesting. I first got into actually producing my own music in senior year of high school. We have like an end of the year assignment, or we have to take an internship at a company or something like that. and then we get a teacher to advise us and pretty much be like, you know, the proctor of the whole situation. So what I did is I decided to make my own album. So I decided to take like 6 songs or 6 ideas that I had and fully flesh them out, write them into like a conceptualized piece for my last year of high school. And it kind of was like ideas that I had throughout the whole 4 years of high school. So it really like intertwined well enough. And there was like a lot of different emotional aspects to it. The teacher that I picked to be the advisor was the band teacher at the school, Mr. Costa. Shout out Adam Costa. Yeah, so he was the one to guide me through the whole process of how to like create the intro track, how to create a love song, how to, you know, pour your emotions into a specific song, and then like how to create a final like finale. Everything kind of comes like rises and falls, you know, something like that. So he was the main reason why I was like, okay, I feel like I have a grasp on how to do this. Like, how can I do it in my own way now?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got into music production initially.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So the first song of yours that we're going to listen to is called Wasteland. What's the vibe here? Like, what were you going for?
Wasteland is, so that's one of the first songs I ever like really released under Robby Rowe. It was like from my first project. And that sort of vibe is talking about growing up in my hometown. Things are kind of changing, me having like a little angsty tone about it, but also being like, look, I know there's other people that agree with me, so let's just like face the facts here and look at it from that way. So, yeah. But it's also fun and dance worthy. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's give it a listen.
Okay. Yeah, let's get it. All right. I'm sitting awake again, trying to stay a little bit and dance with all my friends. The cops stand in the way again. At the same park, the city forces to close by 10. Yeah, there's no end. I tried to pretend that all this energy is poured directly into this wasteland. Yeah, building apartments, get rid of yards, sit in apartments, get rid of gardens, building apartments, get rid of yards, sit in apartments, get rid of gardens. Sit on the wall again, playing loud and proud, and there the sound's my only friend. The cars got on the lawn again. At the damn park, the city forces to close by 10. Yeah, there's no end. I tried to pretend that all this energy is poured financially into this wasteland. Yeah, building apartments, get rid of yards, sit in apartments, get rid of gardens, building apartments, get rid of yards, sit in apartments, get rid of gardens.
Yeah. That's so great. A Robby Rowe original. Get out of here. Hello. Okay. Lovely.
Thank you.
Love to hear the early work of Robby Rowe. Kind of touching on the gentrification that the North Shore has been experiencing the last couple decades.
Yes.
How can you like speak on that as a local of Beverly and like what your experience has been and how you turn that into an art form?
Sure. I can. So, always been a community guy. Love a community. I love people coming together, you know, building something for other people to join in on, trying to, you know, get that all together and make good memories. What I don't like is people coming in and taking what other people are trying to like build towards, especially when it's like a positive thing for a specific group of people, and sort of taking that away and making it like profitable. And I guess what I'm getting at is building apartments and getting rid of yards, you know? People are spending too much time, too much money on trying to achieve and get more money and get more, you know, status, but they're not looking at the middle or the small man and being like, how can we elevate, make your time a little more happier, you know? How can we touch upon making everybody feel safe, feel, you know, creatively valid? And I guess what I mean is having those spaces where people can be themselves and not be judged and not feel like there's somebody talking down on them. And I guess I just feel like as time goes on and as people move forward, in hometowns, especially like that, there's always going to be change and there's always going to be people that want to look down on you. But I think there's a point to having memories of a nice time.
Yeah.
I don't know really know where I'm going with that. I just like using nice words too.
Like artists have touched on this before. I can't remember the name, but there's that, you know, paved paradise, put a parking lot. You know, like this is something that so many people have been affected by, but this is like you're telling the story of North Shore, and that I know that this is something that a lot of locals who have grown up here and lived their whole life here kind of feeling forced out. So it's like really beautiful that you have spoken on this and like put your own kind of spin on this story, and you're telling it and putting it out in the world so people can know what's going on.
Right.
It's a heavy topic to touch on.
Exactly. So, and like I can't really speak on everybody. I'm just more talking about it from my point of view.
Yeah. Just like your experience. I think that's what your music is. It's just you're telling your own story.
Right.
From your own perspective.
But I like what you said. Sorry to cut you off. No, but I like what you said about feeling forced out. Because, yeah, I think a lot of people have felt forced out. And especially, like, I've felt forced out. Yeah. Because I felt like my ideas or, like, what I'm trying to contribute isn't being, like, registered in a way that feels validated all the time. And I think a lot of people also feel that way. Yeah. Especially, like, financially or, like, location-wise.
Absolutely.
You know, they feel like they can't feel supported enough to stay in a location, so they have to find somewhere else to like live or find other ways to support themselves. Yeah. Just times be changing. And I think it's just hard. It's just hard for a lot of us.
It's not easy out here.
Yeah.
In the streets of Beverly.
Yeah.
And Peabody.
And anywhere.
Okay, so this was one of your earliest songs that you wrote. How did you kind of get to this point? Like, what was the process in writing, and how did you get to the like end product?
See, that's a good question because I definitely I wrote it a long time ago.
Yep.
So I'm not 100% remember like exactly how it was written out. I do know that it was like a one take Jake though. Like I wrote it all sitting down like, and I don't do that anymore. I don't write songs like that. I'm more just like, let me write this passage and come back to it when I'm feeling that way again, you know?
Sure. And
so I think just starting out, I was like, let me just run through this whole thing and like make it, you know? Let me poke the bear.
I love it. So that process has changed for you then. So now it's more of like what comes first? Is it the writing? Is it the beat? Is it the guitar? What's your process?
It's every single way that you just described, to be honest. It, like I said, depends on how I'm feeling that day. I could be really inspired by a lyric that I thought of, or I could be inspired by like a sound that I hear or a melody that I think of. So the process is different day by day. Honestly, even moment by moment, it's different. Especially since I've started to grow more as an artist. I've, with different genres and different styles, I feel like it comes easier to practice or produce that way or write that way.
Yeah.
Or make things that way.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was the first song you ever wrote?
First song I ever wrote. It's about fish fillets.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was actually the most annoying song ever. Because, I wrote it, and then it was one of those, I was just learning how to play guitar, so it was only one chord.
Sure.
And it was just, the lyrics are very simple, fish fillet. Fish fillet. It was just fish fillet over and over. Started singing it, and my dad was really happy because I learned how to write a song with one chord and a line. Mm-hmm. And my sister was really annoyed because I kept shouting fish fillet. Shout
out to fish fillets.
Fish fillets are good, and I was into them as a kid.
Yeah. Take the inspiration where you can get it, right?
Yeah. That's why I got this muscular figure.
That's awesome.
You know what
I mean. All right. So let's move on to your second song.
Okay. I like how we're going from fish fillets to this next song.
I don't know how to segue from that, so I'm just gonna say.
It was a good question. I mean, that's the answer.
Okay. So your second song is called Marsha Marsha. All right.
Let's hit the sound.
Let's hit
Look
it.
at that face.
Yeah. That's the money maker right there. All right. This is Marsha Marsha.
This song's about my grandmother. Marsha, you're in my head. I know you're far away, but truth be said, oh yeah. If you're ever feeling worried, ever felt in doubt, just give me one phone call and I'll start running out. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, safely in my head. How does it feel
to be away from it all. It's true to the feel. Just be happy till you're gone. I stand at the altar, thinking I lost her. Baby girl, what do I do? I'll try my best to pick up this mess, but that's just what she wants me to do. Marsha, Marsha, you're in my head. I know you're far away, but truth be said, oh yeah, yeah. Have you ever feeling worried? Ever feel in doubt? Just give me one phone call and I'll start running out. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, you were in my head, oh yeah. You were in my head. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, you were in my head. I'll store it in my heart, but it fell under the seat of my car. I'll store it in my heart, but it fell under the seat of my car. And I can't believe I made it this far without you telling me how you were. One day I'll come and knock on your door, like I said I would before. Marsha, Marsha, you are in my head. I know you're far away, but truth be said, oh yeah, yeah. Have you ever been worried? Ever feel in doubt? Just give me one phone call and I'll start running out. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, you were in my head, oh yeah. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, you were in my head. Oh, Marsha, Marsha, you were in my head. Yeah.
Yep. Looking like Edward Cullen there.
It's giving Edward Cullen.
It's giving glitter vamp.
It's giving, this is the skin of a killer. Okay, sorry. That's staying in, Nick. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Marsha, Marsha.
Yes.
It's an emotional song. We talked earlier about your family's influence and your upbringing. Where does Marsha fit into your life as an influence and teacher?
That's a really good question. Marsha was my father's mother. She was really, so obviously, you know, grew up with all my grandparents, but she was the one I feel I had the most, you know, heart-to-hearts with. Very much a role model for me in a sense of always keeping track and keeping in touch with other loved ones in your family.
Yeah.
And that's like super important to me. She taught me a lot of like family core values. And just every time I got to see her, she would always, you know, teach me something new and be that role model for the family. And a lot of my father's family, you know, I never really got to see that much. She was probably next to my uncle, like my dad's brother. She was one of the only people I saw from his family. So she just like had a very big significance in the Rowe family tree for me. Yeah.
What was writing this song like? Where were you kind of in your career? Were you still in college?
Yeah, so I wrote this song kind of like over the course of a little bit, like a couple months. I started out, so it started when she was alive. I'll start it like that. And she, was obviously like that big influence for me. I was really missing her at the time. She lived in Florida. I lived in Massachusetts, so I could never really see her, never really talk to her unless it was a phone call. So we would have those. And I just missed her at the time, so I wrote a song, a little ditty about her. I wrote the chorus. And then a couple months later, she got sick. Obviously she was reaching a point in her life where she, wasn't all there. It was very sad to go through. And at the time, I was in school. I was away. I wasn't home. So, I was away from my mother, away from my sister. And I got the news one day that she passed. And it was really tough for me. When she was sick, I was writing the chorus, or not the chorus, I was writing the first verse. And that was sort of me coping through the idea of her being sick and I might lose her. And just thinking about all of that and trying to pour myself into that. And then after I got the call that she had passed, there was a period where, I took time to grieve. I gave myself that time. And then I was like, look, this is kind of a perfect time to pour myself into the rest of the song. So that was sort of the bridge, where the bridge part came in, where I was I'll store it in my heart, but it fell under the seat of the car, being my love is always there, even when I don't always show it, or it's not always there. It's always going to be with you, and vice versa. Her love may not always be given to me in this lifetime, but it will always be there. Yeah, that's sort of what helped me cope through the loss of a loved one, as well as be able to get myself through it and tell the story to other people. It's really nice to hear whenever that song is performed now, other people are I can put myself in your shoes and feel those emotions and think about those lost ones, those loved ones that I lost, which is really, it really makes me my heart full to hear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of become a staple for you and your performances, right?
Yeah, I love to play that one. It's also just a really fun sound. Especially playing it with the band, everybody gets really into it. There's harmonies, there's undertones that you can hear that sort of just emphasize all the words and the feeling of the entire sound. And a lot of times I get really emotional and tear up and almost cry, and it's definitely something that I always feel emotion towards.
Absolutely.
And I can also feel others' emotions.
Yeah. It comes out in the music.
It does.
It's really special. And I think the beautiful thing is it's kind of showing this history of your grieving process, right? It's the song kind of develops every time you play it, but it's not a sad song. It's a healing song almost.
Yes.
Hey, we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna
Yes.
feel these emotions, and that's pretty awesome.
And it's so funny that you say that, because I think about this all the time, how we have funerals, but we also have celebrations of life.
Yeah.
And when I think about that song, that's a huge celebration of life right there.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay. Okay, so we're gonna transition into our final song, which is called "What Comes Afterwards."
Yes.
Fun.
Yes.
What can we expect with this?
A lot more emotion.
Okay.
You know, I continuing on that path of just letting it all out for you to hear. Definitely some new stuff I'm working on. Excited about that.
Yep.
I want to let it speak for itself.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Let's give it a listen. Robby Rowe.
Edited by Nick DeSimone. That was so good.
It was beautiful.
I love that.
You guys are really a duo. I don't think I've heard that song before.
No, it's a new one.
That's so beautiful.
Thanks.
Wow. And I think it really it's really showing your range. Like these 3 songs you performed are just like, they're all so different. And yet it's such a clear vision of you as an artist. And that is so special.
Thanks.
Yeah. I hope
appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, wow. You're doing all types of styles of music. And it tends, because I've heard a lot of your music, a couple of your performances, it tends to be more poppy and dance. Like what do you think of as your style, as your genre?
Roller rink chic.
Yeah.
Like talking about walking through an abandoned movie theater.
Okay.
Like a little bit retro style. Like, so I bring up roller rink. The carpet that are in a lot of roller rinks?
Yeah.
Like I when I think of my music, it's like that. Like it's just kind of all over the place and cool, but it's got style.
Sure.
And also another part of it, I think, is it's flexible. I am at a stage right now where I am trying a bunch of different things. I want to try a bunch of things, and I feel like a lot of what I'm doing, it's good to do new things because I'm figuring out what I want to do and what I like and what I can present myself as. And it's fun to mess around, and honestly, having that as my identity, being able to shapeshift and be that sort of chameleon is something I'm like falling more into. And like being genre bending, being, just like abstract with how I present myself on stage, those types of things, I'm just trying everything.
Yeah. See what sticks.
Yeah.
I love that. We know you have songs in your library that are poppy and upbeat and just fun. Can you tell me about the most fun song you play?
The most fun song that I play?
Yeah. Like what
or
really...
recorded, either one.
Yeah. Something that can like really just get you into the vibe of the performance.
Wow. See, there's just so many. If I had to pick one song, I would say it would be one of the newer ones that I've been performing, new one that I'm about to release, which would be Leveled Up / Rock It Out.
Okay.
Rock It Out specifically, just because I'm doing a whole dance routine to that now, and
cool.
I want it to catch on.
Yeah.
And it's a bop. It's a whole new vibe. It is this whole new side of Robby Rowe coming out.
Can't wait to see it. I'm excited.
Where can we stream this new side of Robby Rowe?
Robby Rowe can be found on all platforms at Robby Rowe. All streaming platforms at Robby Rowe. ROBBYROWE. Also, go to my Instagram page to find literally everything that I do. That is my graphic design, what I do for shows, what I do for camera work. I do it all there. So please go check it out. That's _interestingfellow_ with the @ symbol in front of it on Instagram. Go check it out. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Robby Rowe.
Amazing. Also, you want to talk about your band too?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little plug.
We also got Not Bad Pretty Good on Instagram. That's not bad, pretty, good. And that's where you can find us. We play some classic rock mixed with some of my original tunes. Which is always fun. Always a good time.
It's a great time. Can confirm.
Can confirm.
Well, that does it for episode 4 of The Performers. Thank you, Robby, for coming in to give us insight into your creative brain.
Thank you so much, Maddie. Thank you so much, PTV. I am sorry that I answered all these questions in a weird way or in my own way. That's just kind of how I roll.
We loved it. It was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you all for tuning in. Look out in 2 weeks for our last episode with Sista D and the Dis and Dat Band. Robby, thanks so much again for coming in. Keep an eye out for his upcoming projects, and I'll see you at work tomorrow.
Bye.